Welcome to my second ever live premiere video. I'm really stoked about this one. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and don't forget, we'll share your information back and forth. Now let's get going. Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. If this is your first time here, thanks for looking in on us. I hope you decide to stay around and think about subscribing. On my channel, we deal with all kinds of things from koi to shubunkins, and boy do we deal with shubunkins, and maybe a bit of a barb addiction I have. I've got numerous tanks. I breed barbs, my shubunkins, and the koi. On this, my very second premiere, we'll be doing another video on my shubunkins. That being the shubunkins I'm getting ready for them to go outside. I'm prepping them for breeding, and I'm going to show you the ones I've decided to keep and grow on. The others are going to stay with me for most of the summer. They're going to go into about a 400-gallon well-filtered pond, and I'm going to pump the feed to them. And then they're going to go out to a great spot at the end of the summer. You know, it's really cool when there's a couple shops and a greenhouse facility that are interested in your shubunkins, and it's a really an honor for me. So, you know, I really appreciate them, and I appreciate them allowing me to bring my stuff later on in the season when they're a bit bigger. Anyways, I also wanted to thank some other people that really assist me along the way, like Jeff from Pelham's Aquatics. You know what? He's trying to get the 500. He's at 400 now, and with your help, he'll be there shortly. So don't forget, if you subscribe to him, make sure you watch the channel and watch a video. Otherwise, the sub just won't stick around. Well, this video is brought to you by the color blue. Not that it's just my favorite, but it's my favorite color in shubunkins. And I'm really trying to push the blue out, and you'll see some of them have just become amazing. The color is really brilliant. I'm not using any special lights or any filters. It's straight on white light. So I think you'll enjoy it. And remember, this is only my second premiere. I hope to do another one soon on barbs and breeding my fish outside. So I hope you stick around. For those who are chatting back and forth, don't forget to share your information back and forth. Subscribe to each other. And again, make sure you watch one of their videos. Otherwise, the sub just won't stick around. And I'm sure you're getting tired of me talking. So let's get over and check out these shubunkins. I think you're really going to enjoy them. I'm going to have some questions throughout that I want your opinion on. So make sure you answer. And thanks again for watching and for commenting back and forth. Now let's get to it. Let's take a look at our adults that will be going out to the pond shortly to breed. I'm going to increase their protein level of the food and get them ready for spawning. It's really important time of the year for them. So I really got to concentrate on giving them high quality food. And I still have to keep in mind that, you know, my filters, you know, aren't big enough to really heavy duty feed them. So they only get fed once, maybe twice a day. And some days, well, one day a week, they don't get fed at all. Just the system I run, and it seems to work well. You see they're quite active and quite, well, they're looking for food. And, well, they're always looking for food. But once they get outside, they'll have all kinds of natural feed to eat, leaving these guys behind. I've got 3 bristlenose in there, and I got to figure out where I'm going to do it with these guys, because I'm thinking this tank that you see these guys in, well, it won't be the same in the end of the summer when they come back in, that's for sure. I have to make some huge decisions, because this 125-gallon tank is getting redone. So that'll be in upcoming videos. These are majority of my females, and these guys I definitely have to really hit hard with the protein, because they'll be spawning 2 or 3 times each throughout the summer. And I'm really hoping big things for these guys, so some of them will be the first year that they'll spawn. I'm really looking forward to that, just to see what all quality I get. And they've really produced some good quality so far, and I'm going to share those with you shortly. But first, what it looks like from up above, because it's really important if you've got Shubunkins or koi that you look at them from up above and on the sides. You can see the blues really pop on that, and there's no special lighting going on here. This is just straight white light and my camera. But yeah, these colors are really gonna pop come summer, and I can't wait to get them outside, because there are some quality males in here with some beautiful blues, like almost cobalt or sky blue. What do you think of these colorings? Also contemplating the idea of keeping some of my males outside all year round. I know it sounds a bit risky, but I'm running out of tank space, and I've got one pond in mind that I'd like to keep nothing but male Shubunkins in. We can talk about that later. You can see right now I'm going to give them some Northfin straight goldfish food. Northfin comes out with some great products. These are really high in protein, and I like that they name the actual protein, not some fish byproducts, but they'll actually mention whether it's sardine or if it's shrimp, and in this case it's got both in it, so I really like that. Plus it's got other stuff to really help with the coloring. I can't forget the females here, because they wouldn't be too happy, and they tend to splash at me a lot, so, and they're actually kind of funny. I'm going to give everyone a good feeding of frozen brine shrimp. I do this at least once a week. I think it's really important for the coloring, and again, these guys are going to be outside and they'll be eating a lot more live feed, so it's important to give them some brine shrimp, and you can see that they're really excited about getting it. Now this is their second meal of the day, so normally they'd be on it a little bit harder than this, but they don't seem to mind, and not at all. They're splashing around, and that brine shrimp is straight protein, and it'll really go for the growth, and it'll really help their immune system, and definitely with their color. Not to mention, it'll help with some great growth. Man, I love these Shubunkins, or as my friends call them, stub-bumpkins. Maybe that'll catch on. Who knows? I'm just kidding, guys. And again, the females, they have to get their fair share, and obviously do. Now, you might say, well, how come some of your females, in this case, are almost white? Well, I want some white, simply because when I mix it with the other colors, I want that clear white. And that's why some of them are white with just a little bit of red in it. It's just something I've tried to use, and it seems to work well. I do get more white ones that I end up having to cull, but I think it really pays off in the end. Especially because these females, they produce a lot of eggs. And these males, well, they're more than happy to chase the females around and breed with them. And they all work well together, so why mess with something that works? But like I said before, guys, I'm really contemplating keeping some of these males out all year round. I know it's risky, but I think they'll grow a lot better, and they'll get even bigger, and they'll be healthier. Let me know your thoughts on that. Now, these are my best fry, and I'm going to keep those to a grow-out pond. In fact, they're going to go to my mom's place, because I know she'll actually overfeed them. So So I'll have to do lots of water changes, and it's got a good filtration system. Look at the blue on that guy. That's almost like a cobalt blue or sky blue. And this guy here has got some multicolors, great patterning. I think I'm definitely going to keep that one. Yeah, definitely. I really like the finish on that one, and the markings are strong, and they'll stick around. This guy here has a really nice coloring and markings. No, the fins aren't really long on it, but it's okay, because if I keep it and I breed it, I'll be breeding it to a long fin anyways, and it's good to have a bit of a mix. Isn't it always the case when you want to film a fish or fishes that one of them decides that he has to have a giant dump? Never fails. Now I like that little cute guy here. Got a really strong red pattern. This one here in particular that we're looking at, the lighting's not great on it, but the blue on the back is phenomenal. The pattern is uniformed on both sides. Again, this one doesn't have a long tail, but this one is going to be stunning. And later on in the video, you'll really see that blue pop. It's amazing. Definitely have big hopes for this guy. And like I said, you're going to see him again later on in the video, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. What a matter of a few weeks to. We've already seen this guy here. I just wanted to show up a little bit closer, and when the light hits him just right, the blue stands out a lot better. Again, I've had to catch these guys, and that stresses them out, and they tend to, well, the colors fade when you do that, so you don't get a true representation. Now I could bowl these up and put them in a blue bowl, and the colors would pop out that much more, but being that they're going to go out to a pond that's not blue, I kind of really want to see what they're going to look like, more of a natural look. And it gives you, you know, a truer sensation of the coloring. If you wanted to see if there's any flaws, actually a white bowl works best because you can see the flaws better. Blue kind of hides them and makes the colors pop better. That's just a little secret that most koi dealers don't really share with you. Anyways, let's get back to these Shubunkins. This guy's got a really defined pattern, and I think I'm going to keep him just because the coloring is just right, and the pattern again is strong, and it's not going to fade off. So it's got a really nice one. And this one here, the coloring is not showing up right now because I just caught him, but the blue on this is just intense. You can see it there, and again you'll see it later on in the video. Those blue eyes don't hurt either, and some of that black will really pop. But wow, that blue in there is going to be a nice cobalt blue or a sky blue. It'll definitely be a keeper. And the tail is the right size. It's not too long, and it's got some black throughout it. So that's really what I'm going for in some of these fish. I mean, there's everyone's got their own taste, right? And we saw this guy earlier. What I like about this is it's got white on the face, and it's got black and red, much like a Showa koi would, but being it's not a koi, it's looking pretty close to one right now. It's a short-tailed, but it's going to be a very nice fish. I think I'll end up keeping it if it gets a little bit bigger. This guy here, I debated on it. It's got, you know, an okay sized tail. It's got a really clean white on it, but you'll note there's not enough pattern on, you know, either with the red or, you know, the white. So there's nothing wrong with him. He's a very good quality fish, but I'll sell him off. This one here is a very interesting koi. I mean Shubunkin. Sorry, I got koi in my brain for some reason. The white on his head is really clean. And then it goes from white to blue, then red and black at the end. It's a different looking fish, and I'm going to keep it because I think it's going to be really cool looking. Especially, you know, the pattern's so even everywhere. I've just never seen anything like that with the white and then blue and then red and black. So that could be an interesting fish as it gets older. I'm kind of stuck on that guy. I can't wait to see how big he gets. I'm hoping he gets a lot bigger because he's pretty small right now, but we'll feed him up. This is another interesting fish. It's short, and when I say short, I mean small. I don't know where the reds are going to go on that. If it develops into a deeper color, it could be a beautiful fish. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer and see what comes up. What's your thought? Would you keep it? This one's a no-brainer. It's a beautiful blue and some black. It's got a really long tail. It's a strong body on it. It's definitely going to be a big fish, and I'm going to keep it. I think that blue will really pop once it gets bigger. Now this guy here is really interesting, and wait till you see him near the end of the video. You go, is that the same fish? But that blue in there is intense, and then the finish with it black. This is going to be amazing fish. I can't wait to see how it ends up at the end of the summer. If that blue holds true, that is just going to be, one of the top fish I have. Now, I've got 2 or 3 of these, and they are, well, I think they're the diamonds in the rough I was talking about earlier. They've got a really nice black finish to them, really nice long tail, red on the head, and then a blue body. The pattern's even throughout it, and I've got a couple of them, and I can't wait to see how they turn out. I think it's going to be great. The other fish that's in with it as well is going to be a very nice fish, and it's got a really nice long tail. Obviously, they want the heck out of this container. Unfortunately, they're just a little bit small, but by the end of the summer, they shouldn't. They're not going to be huge fish by any means, but the coloring, you're not going to ask for a much nicer looking Shubunkin, that's for sure. Now I'm going to save, some of the best for last. Now, I hope you guys are sharing information back and forth. And don't forget, like I said, if you sub up with somebody, don't forget to watch a bit of their video. That way the sub sticks. And, if you like what you see here, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Now, this is one of the diamonds in the rough I was talking about. And you saw them earlier on my first premiere. See that black on the fins and the blue, and then a small red on the head. That is, well, it's going to be a beautiful fish. Got a great body shape to it. The fins are nice and long and even. Again, the only unfortunate thing about this is it's a small fish. So I don't know how big it's going to get, but hopefully after a summer of growth, it will double, if not triple its size. Now, I put these guys back in the 40 where they've been growing out. I've been able to give them a little bit more attention. And again, because I want to show these fish, one of them has to have the biggest turd ever. It never fails. What can you do? They don't listen. But yeah, these fish, you can tell I'm excited about them because, I've been breeding them and I'm finally getting some coloration that I really like. And they're going to be really nice fish. The blues, like I said, are really coming along. And that one was actually from last year's. It was a bit of a runt, and I kept it. It should grow a lot this summer. You like it with the black throat. It is a nice looking fish. But I am happy with the growth rate of these because don't forget, less than a month ago they were not much, to look at least I didn't think so, and the colors hadn't popped. Now this one there I showed you before, that's the one I was talking about with the blue on its back. We'll see him later in the video. He's short fin, but man, the color is going to be just phenomenal, and the pattern. So I've been talking about patterning, and it's really important to me to get even pattern throughout the fish, and that the coloration is strong and just not spotted here and there. And that's what I'm going for, at least with the reds and the blacks. I don't mind blue dotted fish that's black, has black spots. Man, that guy's getting blue. And those black dorsal and pectoral fins. Wow. I told you that one's going to be a beauty. Well, after I've been able to feed these guys some brine shrimp, the colors are really going to intensify. I wish I could afford to feed them brine shrimp every other day, but I can't. That's the adult brine shrimp. I guess if I ever got it down and got the method perfectly, I could feed them adult brine shrimp all the time, but I just haven't had any luck bringing baby brine to adulthood, nor do I have really the tank space and the time to do that, but maybe one day I'll figure it out. If you guys know how to do it, feel free to jump in there. But, this is getting near the end where we're almost ready to put them outside now. But look at these blues intensify. This is under no special light. This is straight white light. Like, look at the blues. They are, well, I think they are just as good as any of those specialty breeders in the southern states. But I'm probably pretty biased. But I'd be glad to hear your own opinion. Especially, people who keep Shubunkins and breed them. Remember, I've only been breeding Shubunkins for about 7 years now. So I'm definitely no expert, and be more than happy to take any advice from other people who breed them and keep them. Remember, I started out with just ordinary store-bought Shubunkins that I don't think I paid more than $5 to $7 for, and I've just been breeding the better qualities I like into them for the last 7 years, and I think they're really coming along. And these tanks, these are what I'm going to call the pond grade ones. There's still a couple diamonds in the rough there, and I'll be able to keep an eye on them over the summer. These will go out to that 300 to 400 gallon pond I was talking about, where I can feed them a little heavier. But these will all be sold off unless something really catches my eye. But so far, there might be one or two that have some special qualities that I may look at, but I won't know until mid to late summer when I go to move them all off. Do you guys see anything that gets your attention? Now, I know they're pretty small and it's pretty densely packed in there. There's a few, like that one there with the black on the dorsal, but I don't know where it's going. Yeah, there could be a few diamonds there. That's the fun of the hobby, though, right? Is you're breeding them and you're hoping for the best. Now these guys here in the 100-gallon tank, they get a little bit more room and a little bit higher quality feed, just because I can't afford to feed everyone the same. So these guys get the odd bit of brine shrimp along with high quality goldfish food, which they all get. These guys, I think, have a little bit more potential. being you can see some of the blues in them already and some distinct patterns. I'll definitely, be keeping a close eye on some of those as the time goes on. Like I said, this is what, the whole hobby and breeding of them takes part in. They're definitely, well, there are going to be some nice fish there. Yep. I'm thinking so anyways, but there's just so many to look at. I could sit down there for 45 minutes and just watch this tank, and there might be one or two that catch my eye, and then a couple days later another one or two might catch my eye, but nothing. I've seen enough that I've pulled them out and put them into the 40-gallon tank. Now again, like I said, I really like to look at the fish from above, because any pond owner, that's where you're going to look at them. And you can see on these guys, some of the blues are really coming out nicely in these fish. And yeah, they're definitely going to be a beautiful fish by the end of the summer when I go to move them on. Unfortunately, I can only keep 7 to 12 potential up and coming breeders, and then I have to make some tank space. And that's what I was talking about earlier about keeping some of my adult males outside, simply because I'm out running out of room and tanks, and my wife says I can only have so many tanks in the house. So, and I don't want to give up my barb addiction, which is the other half of my fish room are strictly barbs. It's nice to have more than one or two species going, and I've got several types of barbs going. Anyways, these are my finished product that are ready for market right now. They're going off for sale. And, I was at one of the big local stores, and they're selling way lesser quality Shubunkins for $15 each. Wow. If only I got that, I'd be quite content and happy. That's the difference between retail and wholesale, and then you've got your breeders who even get less because they're selling to someone that does wholesale. And I really don't want to, have people popping by the house and looking around and wanting to buy fish. At least not at this stage. I may later. And with Canada, the shipping rates are too high to send because, I've been approached by some people about buying some of my fish, some of them from the States and some of them from the East Coast of Canada and some from the West Coast. And I would love to, but shipping rates are just astronomical here. Plus, you'd want to ship them by air. So, your $15 fish is $215, and that's really not worth it for either you or me. Well, one of the topics that I said we were going to talk about, we really haven't, and that is prepping your fish for breeding. Now, it's really important to get some water changes in right before they breed, because that'll stimulate them. But first, you have to give them some really high quality feed. Now, I've got several foods that I give them, and I've already mentioned Northfin, and I also give them G flakes, brine shrimp, and one of their favorite being tropical crisps. That's basically a color enhancing half flake, half pellet. They really seem to like it. In fact, all my fish do, from the barbs to these guys and everything else in between. The Daniels love it. Anyways, like I said, it's really important to give them a real great diet right before spawning. The more live food, the better. And then you're going to have to increase the amount of sunlight or light in your tank. Now, mine will be going outside and with the more sunlight, warmer temperatures, and the live foods, that'll bring them in to spawn. But it's really healthy to, or very important, sorry, to have them nice and healthy prior to going into spawn, because breeding can be pretty stressful on your fish, especially your females in your goldfish and koi varieties, simply because they're being chased by 3 or 4 males, and then eggs are basically squeezed out of them and then fertilized. And this can go on, well, for the vast majority of the day. And a few days later, if the conditions are right, they're pushed in to spawn again. So it's best that, your females really get a good amount of feed beforehand. And that's one of the reasons I separate these, because this is my female tank predominantly. I don't want them spawning off season for me, and I want my females in optimum condition prior to spawn. You can see these guys love the Tetra tropical fish flakes and crisp as well. Boy, apparently I need to do a good clean on this tank. Got to get around back and get some of the algae off. Now, I do let some of the algae purposely build, simply because they're munching on it. And my bristle nose, well, they really need it. I'm going to continue on with some video. Won't be any more talking by me. Lucky for you. And we'll just watch some fish at the end, play a bit of music, and you guys chat back and forth. I'll still be communicating with you as well. And we'll just see how it goes. Thanks again, everyone. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you really like this video, please feel free to share it with others, especially, if they're into Shubunkins or cyprinids like I am, like that addiction I have. Because, boy, I like that species.
That's all, folks.